my name is Paula Izydorek. I'm the artist featured in the show Ingrained here at City Center Gallery. I would like to talk about my work today and give you a little insight of what I would say if I had the chance to be here in person with your group. So first of all, as you may notice, the work that you're seeing is done on wood. And your project that you're going to be doing is also on wood. And when you look at the panel of wood that you receive, you'll notice there's wood grain. And that grain gives you kind of already lines, like a ready-made version of lines, that you can utilize in your art composition or picture. And with that, you also get to choose how you want to utilize those lines. Are they going to be part of your negative space, as in some of the areas you'll see the negative space is painted here? Or are they going to be part of your foreground, as you can see here with the white, gray, and darker gray? That's all utilizing the wood grain and building up on it. You can make your space go over top of the lines or behind them. So the grain of the wood is going to give you lots of opportunity when it comes to designing your composition or picture. So many times when an artist works on a piece of art, they have a preconceived or a starting point of what they want to design. In this particular painting, I knew that I wanted to tell a story. And the story that I wanted to share with my viewer was about two homes coming together to make one bigger family, which is what happened in my life. And I use artwork as a way to share stories about my personal life, as well as stories that others may relate to. And some of you may have had your families blend together. You may have had your homes move into like a relative's home. So what you see here, if you look, we have one home is done in a black outline, and another home is done in a lighter gray outline. And those two homes are intersecting just as a lot of the lines on the actual panel or canvas are intersecting as well. Now you can use symbolism that means something to you. Obviously the home might inspire you, the home inspired me, but you're going to have your own ideas when you work on the wood panel. When you're bringing your materials together, color, depending on your choices, can be predetermined, kind of thought out in advance, or it can be spontaneous. My work has layers of both. When I was doing this particular piece, I was very attached to chartreuse green and let's call it bubblegum pink, and I wanted to have those two colors mixed into my palette, as well as I was using lines of black to white. In this composition, it has a different formula than the one we looked at earlier. This one, all of the canvas, also known as wood panel, has color on it. Everything has been filled in. All of the negative space has been filled in. And as an artist, I chose to play with pattern. And when you look at the piece closer, some of these patterns may remind you of things that are familiar in nature or in your local environment. Like this kind of looks a little bit like brick, possibly. And then some of it looks like wind moving. I was inspired to use a palette based on running on the beach and walks in my urban environment, which means my neighborhood where there was cars and houses and buildings. I didn't live in the country. I lived in a setting with homes and cars, sidewalks, and trees. So I also happened to live near a beach, which had clouds and wind and some sunshine peeking through. So those are the palettes, those are elements that inspired this particular palette. If you look in closely, you might find more than one cloud. And I used the natural grain of the wood where there was a circle to locate my clouds. And it's not realistic because most clouds are not down below the surface. We tend to think of clouds up in the sky, but that's okay too because my work isn't about realism, it's about the emotions you feel and the environments that you're in when you feel those emotions. And another thing I wanted to say about when you have negative space on your surface, you don't have to fill it in one big, huge color. You can do little sections. And that's exactly what I did here. I allowed pattern play in the background of my spaces in between the actual grain of the wood and the foreground elements of the figure.